Yeah, so somebody from some other art festival, South Lake or something, up near Dallas, I think it is. It's a really good festival. I've heard it's highly rated, and I hadn't been in before, but I think I was in a wait list like the year that they can't everything got canceled. So I applied again, and the lady who like reviews the jury things, not the juror themselves, but the lady that reviews all the entries,
Mhm.
she she was nice enough to contact me and say that I might rank higher in the jurying if I had a better booth shot. My artwork looked really good, but my booth shot would be a liability. And she told me why. And it was a really nice, good experience for me to have. They didn't like the plants, and they didn't like the mismatched frames or something like that. And so I sent her a couple of my other booth photos. I'm like, well, this is the more recent one, and this has my new print rack, and this has my new walls. But the frames were still like, I use gold frames sometimes, and I use a dark frame sometimes. And she liked the one. She said, well, this one here where you have the dark frames on one side and the gold frames on the other wall, that looks okay. She said, get rid of the plants, and they don't want to see the print rack. I was really appreciative of that feedback because I've never had like professional art festival jury feedback on anything like that. Just been, I think my booth looks good. But what they want to see, they want no distractions from the artwork, basically.
Oh,
They
okay.
just want to see walls with artwork and very, nicely arranged, consistent body of work. So, uh, so I have to take new booth shot pictures in Midland this weekend.
I just don't understand anything about why that has to be important, since I would think that they'd focus on your artwork and that alone.
Well, I think it's just like I think it's kind of a presentation thing. Like if you have a single piece of artwork, and it's a pretty good piece of artwork, but it's
Hmm.
in an ugly frame, or it's in a frame that's too ornate, or
Hmm.
it's in a frame that doesn't match. It just doesn't look good with the art. That's kind of the same concept as having a booth full of artwork, but then also having these little tables with plants and a print rack and other stuff in there that's not necessarily the artwork. That she said
Okay.
was distracting. It's distracting from the artwork. So yeah, I mean, I'm with you. I thought they wanted to see how does your booth look. How is your booth going to
Hmm.
look at the festival? Because she said, the plants and the print rack, that's fine. You can bring those to the festival, but they don't want to see it in the booth shot for the jurying.
Hmm. Yeah.
So, I never thought of it that way, but it
There's
was it
there's
was good
probably
to
one or
know.
two cranky people on it that she's cluing you into.
It could be, I suppose. I don't know. But I always thought the jury for these things, the actual people who are looking, judging, I always thought that was different each year. Like they get independent people
Oh,
in to look at all of the, like an art
I,
show. It's
yeah.
basically
No,
like an art show.
I think they have a board probably.
I mean, it could be
But
some members of the board plus some
yeah,
other
it's
artist,
probably the
sure.
same people mostly.
But yeah, but this, I'm pretty excited about that, having had some input like that. I'm excited about having new booth shots that are better. Even though it won't be the green walls, it'll be the beige walls. But maybe that's better. Maybe the beige is
Probably.
better because it's
I think so.
more
Yep.
neutral.
Yep.
So what I was gonna do, so I was gonna take the large square portrait of my daughter and my niece and nephew, and hang that in the back, on the back wall, and then have everything not like hang up all my stuff very carefully, like with all the frame colors and whatever, without the print rack in there and without the plants in there, and then take my booth shot and then Photoshop in when I make a new Longhorn painting. Photoshop in that Longhorn painting over the portrait,
Yeah.
and then make that my booth shot. Since I wasn't able to make a new Longhorn painting for this festival, but
Yeah.
I definitely want to
Ah,
keep all of the subject matter
yeah.
very similar because they love that. They don't want to see all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
But
Fussy, fussy.
well, the competition is so fierce to get into some of
Yeah.
these really higher end, highly rated shows, and I'm so eager to get into another one of those. I was in the
Uh,
Main
uh,
Street Fort Worth. The Main Street Fort Worth. I was in
yeah.
once, and oh, that was the best one. That was more money than I've ever made in 3 days in my entire life.
Wow.
3 days, 3 days.
Yeah.
Made more
And
than
you're
that.
not
Like, I made more than that at an 18 or 17 day
Mhm.
rodeo or craft show or whatever, but never in 3 days.
Maybe
So-
you're not paying off the right people.
No, it's just they get so many
Yeah.
applicants that
Wow.
it's tight. It's a fierce competition. So
Wow.
just gotta.
We don't have
Plus,
many
you
shows like
never
that
know.
around here.
Texas
we
has some
do.
good ones. I think the Main Street Fort Worth has been rated like 3 and like in the top 10 in the country.
I believe it.
And I don't know what the South Park one is. I don't know, but it's not
I
as
don't
high
think we
as
have
Fort
it
Worth. I don't
here.
think.
We have St. James here. Our St. James show is massive.
Yeah.
3 days.
Where are you at?
In Louisville, Kentucky.
Kentucky. Okay.
Huh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's a humongous show.
I've had advice from some other artists that I've met at some festivals that that do that's all they do is festivals all across
Yeah.
the country. And their advice to me, because of my subject matter and I guess my style or whatever, is they say
Yeah.
don't do the East or West Coast.
No.
Just go up the middle, go up the Midwest, go up the center of the country.
Yeah.
But that's another one that I was juried into, but that canceled was the St. Louis Art Fair.
Mhm.
That one is supposed to be really good.
Yeah,
And then there's
Yeah.
a couple of them in
Yeah,
Kansas
it's
City that
different.
I've heard of.
you got into Winter Park last year, I think.
Yes, and I was just
I
ridiculously
know, but you
stupid.
went to the other,
For-
yeah. you
Well,
went
luckily,
to the Easter
next spring, the Winter Park is the weekend before Naples.
Park. The Naples Show. Oh, nice.
So, I did okay at Naples. I wouldn't go back there again just for Naples,
Right.
but I have friends in Naples, so I might be able to stay with somebody. And I'm going to apply to both with my new
Yeah.
booth shot whenever I happen to get the booth shot done. And maybe I'll get, if I get into both, that would be a good trip.
Oh,
Go
yes,
down,
it
do
will.
one, and then do the other one, and then come home.
Yeah, that Winter Park is a great show.
I've heard. Yeah, now I know.
I live and learn.
Well, I'm going to let you go. It's been fun chatting. Thanks for
Okay.
coming on.
Thank you. Thank you.
And
Have fun.
bye.
Thanks.
Bye.
Thank you.